last decade, and when this competition
Okay, I'm going to try again.
the rules were clear.
Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? It's a yes/no question. Do you believe there's a difference?
Oh, I think that we're talking about this case with the NCAA.
No, I'm asking a question. Do you believe there's a difference between women and men? Most people could answer this very simply. I'm curious if you're willing to do so.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just putting it into the context of the conversation that we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is that a yes? So I'm trying to get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech. Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're not answering that. Let me ask you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that's...
Alright, let's watch this masterclass in not answering a simple question. The senator asked plain as day, is there any difference between men and women? And now you or I or even a small child would be able to say yes or no in one syllable, but here we get the full politician cha-cha. Well, what can I say? The NCAA has rules, there are definitions, we're having a conversation, blah 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 blah. Lady, it's not a trick question. It's biology, and the longer she talks without answering, the more obvious it's getting. The truth is politically radioactive in our world, and this is why people don't trust these so-called experts anymore. They are afraid of a fact that has been obvious since the dawn of humanity.
Kentucky, you were a two-time NCAA All-American, you were a five-time SEC champion, you're an SEC record holder, and a two-time Olympic trial qualifier. But yet on March 27th, 2022, something changed. What happened on March 17th, 2022?
That's when Thomas and I raced in the 200 freestyle, and again resulted in a tie.
And so you tied. What was the consequence of tying?
We went behind the awards podium, where typically you're handed your trophy, you're marched out, you're named an All-American. And so we go back there, and the official looks at both Thomas and myself and says, "Great job, but you guys tied. And we only have one trophy, therefore we're giving this trophy to Leah." And I question this, and I say, why? And
Alright, here's Riley Gaines, decorated athlete, multiple championships, Olympic trials, tying in a race with Leah Thomas. And fair enough, a tie is a tie, but when they go backstage to get their trophies, guess what? There's only one trophy, and it's going to Leah. And why? Not because she swam faster, not because of some tiebreaker rule, because there wasn't one. No, actually because Leah needs it for the pictures. Imagine training your entire life, hitting the podium at the NCAA and being told, "Sorry sweetheart, you can pose with it, but hand it back, the PR shots come first." That's not sportsmanship, that's propaganda dressed up as sports.
Now let me ask you, as someone who's competed at the elite level, in your experience, is there a difference between women and men?
of course, I think we learned this at a very young age, watching even 12 and unders play. Going through puberty causes irreversible advantage, that no matter the training, no matter the diet, no matter any alterable change you can make, will overcome that male advantage. Especially in sports like swimming, where lung capacity matters so much. Even something as silly as throat size, men have on average a 40% larger throat, which sounds like it's nothing, but when you're grasping for air, that 40% larger throat makes a huge difference in athletic success, not to mention height. You guys know the differences.
Then Riley lays it out like it's common sense, because it actually is. Men have bigger lungs, bigger throats, greater height, more muscle mass, advantages that just training and diet alone cannot erase. And you can put the same hours in, eat the same meals, have the same coach or even a better coach. And guess what? Biology still triumphs after all. And this isn't a hate statement, it's just a reality statement. Sports have weight classes for a reason. You wouldn't put a heavyweight into a ring with a flyweight and call it fair. So why are we pretending the difference between male and female physiology doesn't matter? I actually don't understand it. I mean, it's beyond me.
That we're having. I think that there are definitions related to sex.
Is that a yes? So I'm trying to get a yes or no. I'm not trying to get a speech. Is there a difference between women and men?
I think that there are definitions for biological sex.
Okay, so you're not answering that. Let me ask you this question then. Why do women's sports exist? If you can't define a difference between women and men, why not abolish women's sports and just tell little girls to swim with little boys and see who wins?
Oh, I'm simply saying that that sex is
My
different
question,
than gender.
why
and I do believe
why
that
do
women's sports have a great
exist?
value. I mean, Senator, I'll tell you right
Ms.
now.
Robinson, please answer the question I'm asking you.
Absolutely.
Why do women's sports exist?
I think that there are so many positive benefits to sports.
But
I mean,
why have a
we've talked
separate
about it here
category for
today.
women? If there's no difference between women and men, why to have women's sports?
I'm saying that there's a difference between sex and gender, and that the NCAA has rules in place.
This part is my favorite logical cornering. The senator says if there's no difference between men and women, why do we have women's sports in the first place? And instead of a direct answer, we get, well, there's sex, there's gender, the NCAA has rules, and folks, this is a verbal dodgeball. She's caught between admitting the truth, the obvious that sex matters in sports, and keeping her political crowd happy at the same time, so she just keeps dancing around it. It's ridiculous. Let's continue.
Which they have for the
So,
last decade.
Mr. Chairman,
which
I would
determined
like
that
to enter into
related
the
to
record an
participation.
article from Duke Law called Comparing Athletic Performances for the Best Elite Women to Boys and Men. And it goes through examining in 2017 the top records for women in the world in various track and field events. So, for example, in the 100 meter, the top record for women in the world was 10.71 seconds. Now, that record for the number one woman in the world in 2017 was, in the year 2017, broken by 124 boys under 18. In that same year, the record for the number one competing woman in the 100-meter dash in the world was broken by a total of 2,474 men. If the radical...
And then the senator drops the hammer with cold hard numbers. In 2017, the fastest woman in the world ran the 100 meters in 10.71 seconds, and that's actually quite impressive until you see that 124 boys under 18 beat their time the same year, and over 2,400 grown men did the very same. And it isn't sexism, it's simply data, it's reality staring in your face. Just imagine putting in, for example, Sha'Carri Richardson against Noah Lyles into a 100-meter race. This just wouldn't be a competition. And if we erase the biological lines, girls won't be competing, they'll just be spectating. And the folks pushing this know it, they just hope you're too scared to say it out loud. So here's the bottom line. If you can't answer whether men and women are different, you have no business writing rules for sports or anything else for that matter. And these folks aren't protecting fairness, they are protecting a narrative. And every time they dodge, every time they hand a trophy to someone for pictures, they are telling our daughters you don't matter as much. And I want to hear from you, should we keep pretending like this is fair, or should we start to call it out for what it really is? Drop your answers below and don't hold back.